emphatic that he will be going to receive that advice from the Supreme Court. We'll be following up on that story, that developing story. Remember, it's also the basis of our Twitter poll this morning, and we're asking you if IEBC is justified to lock out any other candidate who would want to participate in the rematch come October 17th. I'd like just to get the views of my guests here in studio. Priya and I'll start with you. Do you think it's justified? You've heard what Ekuru Aukot is saying. Does his reasoning is solid? Is his reasoning solid enough?
Well, on the face of it, Ekuru seems to have a point. I hope the Supreme Court will pronounce itself on this matter sooner rather than later for us to have a finality.
Right.
But the most important thing, in my view, is that we need to relook at the Constitution and really try to find out if we can perhaps enhance the threshold for one to participate as a presidential candidate.
Right.
Yeah, because you see, this idea of every Tom, Dick and Harry running for the presidency is causing us a mess.
Really? How?
Yeah,
How so?
I am strongly convinced that part of the reason why we have so many spoiled votes is because of the long list of people on the ballot paper claiming to be running for the presidency. And yet some of these people are people who, in ordinary circumstances, would not even win an MCA seat in their respective wards. So we need to really to strike a balance between granting people their constitutional rights and creating harmony and order, really.
So we should look into the threshold.
The threshold,
really,
yes.
because it's also the democratic right of any Kenyan to participate.
I agree, but if you see, even for the position of MCA, for instance, there are certain conditions you have to meet before you can qualify to run.
All right.
Okay? So what I'm saying is that even though it is the right of every Kenyan to run for presidency, let's try to enhance the threshold. Yes, that for you to run for presidency, you need to meet these specific conditions.
All right.
Yes.
But now that we're in this situation, and what do you think should be the best way moving forward? Should Ekuru Aukot be allowed to participate? Because he was also really an interested party.
My strict understanding, my plain understanding of the Constitution is that what the Supreme Court did was to annul the entire election of the 8th of August.
Yes.
That basically means that we are back to the status quo, really. And therefore, we are as if no election has taken place.
So anybody should take.
So in that regard, really, we are starting from square one.
From scratch.
And therefore, anybody can run.
All right.
Can run, yeah.
Ndindi, do you hold the same views?
I think as Kenyans, we waste so much time trying to look correct and cool. And listening to Daktari, I think it's laughable. In my opinion, we should only have two candidates who are serious, because we cannot assume that we never had another election. We had an election where we voted the whole list, and we know the top who emerged as the top two. It was nullified.
Yeah.
But I also think we cannot spend so much money and time as a country to massage egos of sole losers. We know, and every Kenyan knows, the two serious presidential candidates. And I believe they are the ones who should be given a chance, so that, number one, we run away from an eventuality of even having a runoff, because it will be unnecessary for a country to be subjected in such a long period of campaigning and electioneering, where we know clearly what the Kenyan people stand for and the kind of leaders they are likely to choose.
All right.
Since we know the top two, my opinion would be, let us not belabor the point, or the murdering should get out of the path. We have the two serious presidential candidates, so that we can save the country even more money and more time in the election period.
All right, if you say that we have, let's just have two serious, quote-unquote, candidates, then wouldn't that mean that Ekuru Aukot's, face on the ballot paper would be inconsequential then?
It would be, and I am judging this by in many parameters. Democracy, of course, we go to choose the majority. Lucky enough, we had a mock election here in Kenya, because the 8th of August that was annulled gives us some leeway. It gives us a possibility to see what Kenyans had in their minds. Therefore, there is no chance, or there is no need of us continuing to repeat the same thing. Yet we know, ultimately, we only have two presidential candidates who are serious as far as Kenyans are concerned.
As far as Kenyans are concerned. So do you hold the same view?
No, certainly not.
Right.
You need to be very careful that whatever decision we make must have a constitutional and legal backing.
Yes.
Yes. So we don't just have to proclaim that so and so are the ones allowed to run, and without really setting the basis. Yes. So as we speak, my position still remains that let the Supreme Court pronounce itself on this matter. Even though I believe strongly that there's nothing which will stop other Kenyans from running for presidents on this 17th of October election. Yeah. Strictly speaking, in terms of the law and the constitution.
Right.
Yeah.
No Kenyan should be barred. All right, we'll continue with the conversation in a few moments. And remember, that's also the basis of our Twitter poll. Is the IEBC justified in locking out some candidates who would want to participate in the rerun on October 17th? We'd like to hear your thoughts on that one. All right, let's continue with our coverage. We'll come back to the discussion